Meghan Markle's insane demands to enter the disunited kingdom have been revealed. And by the way, can I just be very clear? We don't want you, love. So making all of these demands, which we are going to have to pay for, is not going to go down well. Seriously. I mean, the types of things she's asking for are nuts. Bulletproof glass, private planes, lockdown hotel floors. These are totally jaw-dropping conditions for her first trip back in 4 years. This has all been revealed by Rob Shooter of Shooter Scoop. I want to take you through it. Insiders say now that even though she is planning her first return to Britain in 4 years, it will actually only happen if her strict personal conditions are met. So I'm just very clear on this. Do not meet the conditions. It makes life so much easier for all of us. He writes, the Duchess of Sussex expected to join Prince Harry at the one-year countdown for the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham this July, but only on her terms. And her terms are nuts. Listen to this source, revealing she wants 4 floors of the Hyatt Hotel, completely shut down just for her. Extra security outside. Staff aren't allowed to look at her. She's in total control. Another insider adds anyone who has any interaction with her has to call her Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, no exceptions. Well, we know that's true because earlier last year when she was in that little townhouse, I'm sure it wasn't a little townhouse, a huge townhouse that she was grifting from someone in New York, the poor cleaner had to announce her as the Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex when there was only one other person in the house who happened to be a journalist. Security arrangements are said to include 24/7 drivers, a fleet of luxury cars, and a police escort from the airport straight to the hotel. This isn't just protection, a source says. She's asking for a fortress, bulletproof glass at the games, armed security everywhere she goes. Meghan is also flying in her own chef, assistant, hair and makeup team, and 4 separate rooms for her PR staff alone. Nothing will be left to chance. The visit hinges on the outcome of a review of Harry's UK security. She will not step foot in Britain without full protection, police escorts, security venues, no risks periods. An insider says, if approved, it would mark her first trip back since Queen Elizabeth's funeral in September 2022. Everything depends on the security review. Until that decision is final, nothing is locked in, a source adds. Insiders say Meghan's potential UK return has already been treated as a high-stakes negotiation, one that could turn a sporting event into a full-on royal spectacle. Well, I say no. I say absolutely not. I say piss off. This is so easy. Why on earth is Charles even contemplating this? Why is Ravek, the security committee, even contemplating this? Because it's nuts. It's more protection than most members of the royal family receive. It's more than Princess Anne receives. It's more than Prince Edward receives. It's more than Sophie receives. Pete Dine, a royal YouTube sensation with me now. Surely this is just the obvious reason why this madness isn't required. She didn't have any of this in Colombia. She didn't have any of this in Nigeria. It's just her bully boy tactics to try and constantly see the British royal family and the British government bend to her ludicrous needs, her ludicrous view of who she is, when no one actually wants her here.
Right. She's making this demand so extreme because she doesn't want to be there. So she's just doing extra because it's a way of her being very vindictive towards the family. I think this is what you'll see happen more and more if anything is given to Harry. It's going to be this constant trying to get more or else. And you can't win with someone like that. Someone with this mindset, Dan, is going to make your life miserable if you give them an inch. So it's best not to give her anything. Need to put her in her place and show her that she cannot make these kinds of demands. This right here shows you how much she is disturbed mentally, because no sane person would ask for such demands when you have literally done nothing. Your life is the way it is because of your choices. And she wants people to accommodate the things that she wants to do. But you haven't done anything for anybody else. So why should anyone want to give you anything worth having when you haven't done anything. This woman is delusional in her thinking. And I think it shows exactly the kind of life of how she will make it miserable for the royal family if they give her anything. This is a warning shot that you better not give her anything, because she will continue to do things like this. I think also around the children, she'll make these special demands, and it's like you can't negotiate or try to accommodate someone who really doesn't want to be around, because she'll just continue to make things miserable for people because she doesn't have a good bone in her body to get along. She wants to always be that extreme. And this is, to me, a very, very sad situation that they have someone like this within their family, because I think this is especially why William is working much harder now to get the right people to help with their PR, because Meghan is going to do everything she can to make things really bad for the
Yeah,
royals.
indeed. I mean, as we revealed earlier in the week, he has now hired one of the country's most experienced crisis management PRs to
Yeah,
work within his team at Kensington Palace day to day, because it shows you,
yeah,
P. Dina, what he's expecting. He is expecting
yes, right.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to set up a rival royal court. And thank God, actually, that he is preparing to fight fire with fire, because he knows that the future of the British royal family is at stake. And that's why I'm so disgusted. And I'm going to be honest with Charles and with the British government, because they should have just rejected Harry's security demands. They are ludicrous demands. He was always warned of the consequences. I'd just like to remind everyone, P. Dina, that is not about putting Harry or Meghan's security at risk. They would
Mhm.
be sort of monitored, and the threats are monitored. And if there is any realistic threat, they get provided with that government security. So if we look to Harry's last visit, where he claimed he was being stalked, by this female fan who's actually just a member of the Sussex squad and by all accounts wasn't aimed, there she is. On one of those days, he did receive police protection, because there was a total understanding that if he's at threat, of course he gets it. No one's saying that. It's about this guaranteed protection, which means he can be here whenever he wants. And more than that, can actually travel overseas as an international protected person. And we have to pay for it. It's nuts.
So unbelievably just crazy to me,
Yeah.
because that's what's going to happen. He's going to get the security, be in the UK the majority of the time. And then when they go back every once in a while to the States, they have security that's paid by the taxpayers in the UK. And it's exactly what he wanted. I think this was very intentional to do just that, to have this special security the way they originally wanted it, right? And then they're going to have it wherever they go as IPP people. I mean, really, it's insane that this would even be considered, that he would have this review again. I feel like this was in the making, like intentionally, like with that stalker and everything. They wanted to make something happen so that they had a reason to refile, and then they knew it was going to get a review, and then now security is going to be coming. It's all planned.
It is. But the thing that is most interesting to me about this, P. Dina, and it shows you the arrogance that she have and why there should be hubris, is that actually the only person who should be begging and pleading to come to the United Kingdom rather than making demands is Ms. Markle, because she needs the UK. It's all she's got. It's the only way to save, or at least try and save, it may be too late, a career which is dying on its ass. And Sarah Vine in the Daily Mail this week, I think was spot on the money, and actually good on her, because you've seen the wicked witches of the Daily Mail like Liz Jones and Amanda Patel turn on Catherine and the Prince of Wales recently. But Sarah Vine seems to get it. She wrote a piece headlined, "The real reason Meghan is plotting a return to racist old-fashioned Britain, and it is not what you think, and there's the punch. Here is why Kate," that's of course what the Daily Mail continue to call the Princess of Wales, "should watch out." And she writes, so why? Why come here, Duchess, if you hate it so much? The answer is simple and glaringly obvious. After nearly 6 years in America, the royal fairy dust is finally wearing off. The clock has struck midnight and the lavish bandwagon she's been riding high on is finally turning back into a pumpkin. The Duchess has milked her connection for all it's worth, and now she needs to re-up on that magic. She needs to remind the world of who her in-laws are, to stay relevant, and more importantly, to stay commercial. Because let's be clear, without her royal connections and victim survivor narrative, the Duchess is just another middle-aged minor actress with a lifestyle brand to flog. And those people are 10 a penny. A trip back to Blighty will be gold. And she knows it. Perhaps that's why she chose today to launch her latest product, a new leather bookmark from her as ever brand, handmade, I note, by a small English company. And I think she's got it totally right. Because Meghan Markle is, in some ways, realistic about her prospects.
Yeah, she knows that she cannot make money or have the life that she envisioned for herself staying in California. She needs to have some proximity to the UK, and that's exactly what she is going to do. But I think she's going to do it for a very temporary time frame. Who knows what she may have up her sleeves? But Megan's reality is a dud. I mean, she has not been able to do what she had hoped, and now she's trying to revamp, trying to do something differently in the UK. Who knows what that will be? I think she's going to do something that we haven't talked about. I just know Megan is plotting something. And exactly what she was saying, that Megan's everything, the fairy dust, the royal fairy dust has worn off. And now she's just trying to go get some more and have some kind of plan behind that. And then what? Is she going to stay, or will she come back and do something else in America? Who knows? But it's quite sad because it's Harry is torn between all of this and what Meghan has done. I mean, they are failures, and I think it is too late. I don't think there's much she can do now to revive her situation, but she's going to try. And when she's trying, she's going to make harm and problems for the real royals while doing it. Absolutely. This is a disaster for them. Harry, I think, in my opinion, he needs to cut ties as soon as possible from Meghan, because this is just going to be more delusion and problems in the UK that are going to make Harry's life even more miserable, because they're never going to be aligned in purpose whenever whatever they do moving forward. They want completely different things. And so that's what happens when you're still connected to Meghan. She will make your life miserable. So what now?
Yes, she will. But unfortunately, because they're both so desperate in different ways, what now is an attempt to bounce the royal family, bounce the British government, bounce the security services into making decisions that are bad for Britain, are bad for the monarchy. And that's why it's so important, and I will continue to do it, Peter, and I know you will too. We must call out when they are manipulating the mainstream media. And we saw this manipulation via Charlotte Griffiths, their new propagandist in the Mail on Sunday, who got everyone all over the top supporting this idea that Harry's security case was just nailed on, absolutely nailed on, when indeed the government briefing now is that it's not nailed on and that it does have to go through a process. However, I do tend to agree with you that they are going to get it. And in part, they're going to get it because they are beating King Charles in that PR game, leaking the fake information about the stalker, etc., etc. And Richard Eden, in the Daily Mail, has surmised that the security is going to change everything. He says this twist gives Harry and Meghan all they ever wanted, allows them to rake in a fortune, and will cause huge problems for the monarchy. He reports the stripping of automatic police protection was done for a very good reason, and its restoration would be a serious mistake. Thank God someone said it other than me. That's not just my view, he says, but the opinion of several palace insiders. In fact, it could create a huge problem for the monarchy's future. At the moment, working royals such as the King's siblings, Princess Anne and Prince Edward, are entitled to protection only when carrying out public engagements. It would be bizarre for Harry and Meghan, who carry out no public duties, to have round-the-clock protection, but not the working royals. A victory for Harry would mean he had partly achieved what he and Meghan always wanted, to be half-in, half-out royals. They would have the major perk of automatic taxpayer-funded protection, but none of the obligations of public service. They could carry on trying to make their fortune promoting the former actress's lifestyle business as ever and making further controversial television shows. They would also be free to establish a rival royal court in Britain, diverting attention from the real royals such as William and Catherine, who are dutifully trying to continue their family's dedication to public service, not profit. And this is a warning from a friend of the royals, and it is a key warning. They say a win for Harry and Meghan would not change. Sorry, let me repeat that. They said a win for Harry and Meghan would change everything. I think that is very much a fair summation and a warning, P. Diner, of why it's so important that people don't buy in to the narrative that is at least, well, I would argue successfully at the moment, attempted to be set by Harry and Meghan, which is that this is inevitable. It just has to happen. There's no choice about this. No, there is a choice. You don't need it. If you do want to come to the UK, we'll assess you on a day-by-day basis. But ideally, don't come.
This opening sets the tone immediately. Shock, anger, and disbelief. The language is intentionally blunt, insane, nuts, jaw-dropping. The framing here is clear. Meghan isn't returning to Britain, she's negotiating like a hostile foreign power. Bulletproof glass, private planes, locked down hotels, this isn't security, it's royal cosplay without royal duty. Here, the story gains insider credibility. The use of Rob Shutter and unnamed palace sources gives the impression of leaks the palace doesn't want public. Key message. She's not coming unless Britain bends the knee. This isn't reconciliation, it's leverage. 4 floors of a hotel shut down. Staff forbidden from making eye contact. This is where the narrative shifts from security concern to celebrity diva behavior. The public reaction this invites is simple. Who does she think she is? Insisting on being addressed as Her Royal Highness directly contradicts the Sussex Agreement with the late Queen. This reinforces the central accusation. Meghan never accepted losing royal status, she just pretended to. The phrase asking for a fortress is key. This reframes Meghan not as a woman afraid, but as a manufactured threat narrative. The comparison to Princess Anne and Prince Edward is devastating. Why should non-working royals get more than lifelong servants of the crown? This is one of the strongest logical attacks in the entire segment. If Britain is so dangerous, why no bulletproof glass in Nigeria? Why no fortress in Colombia? The implication is unavoidable. The danger isn't real, the demands are strategic. This section paints Meghan as unnegotiable, punitive, and vindictive. The warning is explicit. If the palace gives in once, the demands will never stop: children, travel, titles, money. This frames Meghan not as a family member, but as a permanent destabilizing force. This is where the story expands beyond Meghan. Prince William hiring crisis PR experts is interpreted as preparing for open warfare, not reconciliation. The idea of a rival royal court is introduced, a direct challenge to the monarchy's legitimacy. This section accuses Harry of gaming the system. Key allegation: manufacture threat trigger review secure permanent protection travel globally on UK taxpayers' dime. This reframes Harry as strategic, not naive. This is a brutal reputational blow.
I mean, why is it that this is even up for discussion? Again, that's the whole point. I think this is showing you that they're trying to get something other than what they already had, and that means that their intentions are going to be something completely different as well. And so coming to the UK to have a rival royal court, I think is exactly what they're going to try to do, and be more often in the UK. For some reason, I think Meghan's going to use it to do something not good. And it's just going to make them, I think, cause problems once again. Like, to me, this is a situation where you have to really look at what is the end motive for them. Why are you trying so desperately to get this kind of security when you really already had it? You already had security where you would have this police protection with a notice, but Harry is trying to get it so much more. I think this is a problem around the children because Harry, he has said it, and I think it does point to that. I think Harry wants to be permanently in the UK with this security, and then going back to the States, perhaps during the summer or whatever, but being mainly in the UK with the children. So then he has the security to pay police protection in the UK and when he travels to the States. That's what it looks like to me. And I think Meghan is just riding with that so that Harry can get it, but she's not going to stay, I don't think, in the UK. There's just something that's not said that's missing here because it just doesn't make sense that you're trying to get this kind of security when you really already have it with an advance notice, right? Am I mistaken in that, Dan? That's what I thought it
100%.
was.
100%. He just
So
needs
there's
to.
something else.
Yeah, he just needs to alert, and he doesn't want to do. I mean, this is the thing: the entitlement of these two. I
Yeah.
know Andrew Lowney's book about Andrew was titled Entitled, but I think it actually applies to Harry and Meghan. And we're going to see that next
Yeah.
week, P. Dina, because of course on Monday we see the kickoff of Harry's court case against the Daily Mail. It's very complicated, but it's delusional. It's one of the biggest mistakes he's made in his career. This is, of course, versus Associated Newspapers, the publishers of the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday. Now, Harry's propagandists at Woke ITV News have prepared this curtain raiser. Watch.
Prince Harry is heading back to court with a glittering supporting cast, each in a legal battle with what is arguably Britain's most influential news title. But perhaps the most dramatic evidence will come from fellow claimant Doreen Lawrence, more than 30 years after the racist murder of her son. The Mail famously championed her cause. But she claims the paper was also targeting her, tapping and hacking her phone, paying police officers for information. She says she feels betrayed. The Mail denies the allegations. But ahead of the trial, her lawyers have told ITV News Baroness Lawrence is disappointed that the Daily Mail has yet to accept and apologise for its intrusion on her privacy and has forced her to go to trial. She had hoped that the Daily Mail would not have wanted her to endure the obvious stress of litigation, given what she has gone through and continues to go through.
In other words, just give in. Just give in to these very obvious lies. The Mail are denying the claims, so there will be an epic showdown. Watch.
The Mail contests the claims with vigour. Its publisher, Associated Newspapers, told us from day one, Associated has always described these allegations as preposterous. Since then, the claimant's two main potential witnesses have retracted their claims against Associated. 14 years ago, the Daily Mail on oath told the Leveson inquiry that it did not hack phones. We stand by that today.
P. Dina, can you believe that Prince Harry is putting his reputation on the line? I mean, this is a complicated case. And of course, we will be getting into it and giving the no spin, no bias, no censorship coverage over the next 9 weeks. But it's complicated. Trust me, though, Harry and his legal team, and this is all proven, this is all out there, this is not exaggeration on my part, are relying on a cabal of criminals, of scumbags, of lowlifes, of drunks. That's who he's relying on here. I think it's going to backfire spectacularly.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to, everything that is going to come out of this. And I mean, for Harry right now, he has just gone so far down the rabbit hole with everything in his life. He is in a position now that I think is definitely going to backfire on him. But I mean, what does he have to lose at this point? I think he is just at the rock bottom right now. And he has to do things to, I guess, prove points and try to slay dragons. I know he's once said that, but Harry's he's just a lost child at this point. Nothing makes sense. And I think the financial implications of this is going to be very hard for him as well. I mean, isn't there some kind of payback that he is going to have to also do, or that he owes the courts now, like
I mean,
over
this,
£1
this
million?
honestly, the costs in this case are sickening. And this is why also Harry can't ever claim to be a humanitarian, P. Diner, because no one involved in the legal system thinks this is a sensible use of money. I mean, you're literally talking about £40 million worth of costs for each side. The insurance
Right.
bills are massive. And it is only someone who has a total entitlement and always believes that they will be protected no matter what, who is able to go ahead with something like this. I do believe he has been manipulated by very, very bad people. The head lawyer in all of this is David Sherborne. Now, he is a showman, absolutely, but he's not someone I believe who can be trusted. He's lost cases against me before, for example. A lot of his cases fall apart. And I'm told there's very good reasons why he's not a KC. And of course, lots of celebrities too, like Elton John, David Furnish. It's nuts. It is absolutely nuts, the whole thing. And it shouldn't be happening. Now, Harry's bet is that UK judges just hate British newspapers so much that he's got a chance of winning. And of course, that could happen, P. Diner. But I do not think it is nailed on by any means. Now, that is not me defending, by the way, bad practices that took place within the British mainstream media. I mean, let me be very clear. I gave evidence at the Leveson inquiry. You can actually go and read my witness statement online right now, where I swore under oath, P. Diner, that I've never used any illegal practice. I've never used private investigators. I've never hacked phones, none of it. And I think it's disgusting that journalists did that. But that isn't what Harry is pursuing these cases for. He is pursuing these cases, P. Diner, for personal revenge. He wants all of these media organizations shut down, and he wants people like Piers Morgan locked up. I mean, I know some people probably say, yeah, let's get Piers Morgan in jail. But what I'm saying is he's not doing it for the right reasons, okay?
Yeah. I mean, that's just what Harry does. It just shows how entitled he is. I think he feels like he's going to be bailed out. I think he has this syndrome where his dad is going to, at the end of the day, make it all better. Because people that have real consequences just don't do this. They don't go forward in matters where, they are put in a position financially to have to pay out so much money, and to just be so entitled to think that you can just do this and to live such a overly exorbitant life, trying to be a private person now. I think it just shows that Harry really feels like he is going to go back to his royal life and go back to getting things the way they used to be. And he can just do these little things in the real world and play around, and there will be no real consequences for him. That's his mindset. But he needs a real wake-up call. I know that he needs to learn something, because he certainly hasn't learned anything with all the things that he and his wife have done. It is disgusting. And I think the people know it, and they're sick of it. And I don't know how much of a welcome you'll have, even going back to the UK. We'll have to see, but it's just terrible. And it's so shameful when your parent, your dad, is so ill. Like, he really is putting his father, I think, in a position with his health by having to have all these things that he has to worry and think about now with Harry.
Totally, but this is what they
Why?
do. This is what they do. They don't give a damn. They didn't give a damn in Queen Elizabeth II's dying days. They didn't give a damn in Prince Philip's dying days. This is what they do. They are so selfish. Harry knows his father doesn't want him to go ahead with this case. He doesn't care. They don't care about what anyone else thinks. They do not give a damn. But look, trial begins on Monday, P. Diner. It's going to be interesting. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, for so much more royal analysis, make sure you subscribe.
Without royal proximity, no mystique, no commercial power, no leverage. The royal fairy dust metaphor is devastating. The brand is dying, and Britain is the last oxygen supply. This section reframes her UK return as pure commerce. The irony of launching an English-made product while attacking Britain as racist and unsafe is exposed as hypocrisy. Here, the suggestion is that Meghan doesn't want Britain, she wants access. Short stays. Maximum exposure. Minimum accountability. Britain as a resource, not a home. This is the core warning of the entire video. If Harry wins. Full security. No duties. Commercial freedom. Rival court. Media warfare. Everything the Queen explicitly forbade achieved through pressure, courts, and PR. This segment accuses Sussex allies of manufacturing public consent. The goal? Make people believe resistance is pointless. The response? No, Britain still has a choice. Speculation intensifies here. The suggestion? Harry wants UK residency. Meghan doesn't. Security enables both agendas. This paints the couple as strategically misaligned but mutually opportunistic. This is a character assassination of Harry's legal strategy. Key framing. Not justice. Not reform. Personal vendetta. The costs, witnesses, and risks are portrayed as reckless, almost delusional. The ending pulls no punches. Selfish. Entitled. Indifferent to dying relatives. Willing to destabilize institutions for ego. This is the final verdict. They don't care who they damage as long as they get what they want. Now let me ask you something. Do you think Meghan Markle's demands are about security or about control, leverage, and reviving a failing brand? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read them all. If you agree Britain should not give in, hit the like button. Subscribe for uncensored royal analysis the mainstream media won't touch. And most importantly, share this video so more people see what's really going on. Because once you give an inch, they take the monarchy.